In question number 7, section 6.4, we want to sketch the graph of the function by plotting points. So first, let's go ahead and complete the table, and then we'll go over how to draw the graph. Now, in order to complete the table, we have our values of x. So here's our values of x. And then we have our function. So here's our value of x, and there's our function, the log of base 4 of x. So we first want to find what is the value of g of x when the input is 1 over 4 to the third power. So I'm going to go ahead and write that in terms of g of x. Instead of writing g of x, I'm going to write y. So we're going to write y with the log of base 4, and now we're putting in 1 over to the 4/3 as the value of x. And so now, in order for us to find out what the exponent is, meaning y, we're going to rewrite that in exponential form. So we have 4 to the y power, which is equal to 1 over 4 to the third. And then you can see that 4 to the y, which is equal to 4 to the negative third. So therefore, our then answer is -3. Next, number 2, our input is 1 over 4 squared. So we're going to plug that in for the value of x. So we're going to write that as an logarithmic equation. And then we're going to translate it to an exponential function. So we know that y is the exponent on base 4 to get 1 over 4 squared. And then we're going to rewrite 1 over 4 squared so it has a base of 4, so it's 4 to the -2. And therefore, the answer for that is -2. Next, we're going to put in the value of 1/4. So we're going to put in 1/4 for the value of x, and then here's our logarithmic equation, and then translate the logarithmic equation to an exponential equation. So y is the exponent on base 4 to get 1/4. Now the exponent for 4 is 1, so rewriting that as a negative exponent, we get 4 to the y, which is equal to 4 to the -1. So -1 is that exponent. Next. Okay, now for example number 7, section 6.4, we want to sketch the graph of the function by plotting the points. So what we're given is the logarithmic equation g of x, which is equal to the log of base 4 of x. So we're given the values of x, and then we're going to plug it into this function. Now g of x is the same thing as y. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the value of the x, and then we're going to input it into this logarithmic function and set this equal to y so we can figure out what the value of y is. So for the first one, we're going to let y equal the log of base 4 of 1 over 4 to the third power. So we're going to write this in exponential form. So y is the exponent on base 4 to get 1 over 4 to the third power. Now, 1 over the 4 to the third power is the same thing as 4 to the third power. And since we both have the same base here, we can say that the exponent y is going to equal -3. So therefore, that's how we get -3 for the first solution. The next value of x is 1 over 4 to the second power. So we have y, which is equal to the log of base 4 of 1 over 4 squared. Rewriting this in exponential form, we can say that y is the exponent on base 4 to get 1 over 4 squared. Now rewriting 1 over 4 squared with a negative exponent, we get 4 to the -2nd power. And since we have the same base, then we can say that y is going to equal -2. Okay, next, we're going to put in the value of 1/4. So we get y, which is equal to the log of base 4 of 1/4. So let's convert that to an exponential form. So again, y is the exponent on base 4 to get 1 over 4. Now 1 over 4, the 4 in the denominator has an exponent of 1. Rewriting it with the base of 4 makes that 4 to the -1. So now we know that y is going to equal -1. Okay, next we're going to plug in the value of 1. So if we plug in the value of 1, again rewriting this in exponential form, we say that y is the exponent on base 4 to get 1. Now basically it's saying, okay, how are we going to get 1 so it has a base of 4? Well, anything to the 0 power is going to give you 1. So we can rewrite this as 4 to the 0 power, which then means that the value of that exponent would be y equals 0. So therefore, that's how we get 0. Okay, next, we're going to plug in the value of 4. We plug in the value of 4 into this logarithmic equation. We say that y is the exponent on base 4 to get 4, but that exponent of 4 is 1, so therefore y is going to equal 1. Okay, and the last one, we're going to put in 4 squared for x. So again, here's our logarithmic equation, rewriting it with y as the exponent on base 4 to get 4 squared, so y is going to equal 2. So now we have all our order pairs. And so we can go ahead and plot those on our graph, okay? But let's follow the instructions that they have given here. It says, given a logarithmic function in this form, we want to graph the function. So the first thing we do is draw and label a vertical asymptote. Okay, and that vertical asymptote is x is equal to 0. So there is our vertical asymptote. Number 2, we're going to plot the y-intercept. So we have the the x-intercept. And the x-intercept is 1, 0. And then we're going to plot a key point. And that's the value of the base, comma 1. Well, the value of the base is 4, comma 1. There is our second point. And then we're going to draw a smooth curve through the points and then state the domain, range, and a vertical asymptote. Now, when we graph, okay, we have our points where we have 1, 0, 4, 1, and we can plot an additional point. Down here we had 4 squared, which was the x value, and the y value was 2. Well, 4 squared is the same thing as 16, comma 2. So we go ahead and we graph that, so that's a third point. And then now we can graph. So we graph and we get our logarithmic function.